And at number 10, she beat up SABERTOOTH. X-Men Volume 2 Issue 28 features one of the most badass Jean Grey moments. Aside from having a really cool cover, the issue contains Jean Grey beating the crap out of SABERTOOTH, in a battle in which she says, I quote, "You're a firecracker, Creed, and I am an atom bomb." I mean, she's not wrong. Written in 1994, this was at a point in time in which SABERTOOTH had been staying at the X-Mansion, when Charles Xavier believed he could help control the mutant's damaged psyche and turn him good. Jean eventually intervenes and gets really dark on his ass, using her telepathy to make Victor feel what it would be like to feel his own claws attacking him. She doesn't even move at all during the battle. Instead, she just whips him around, kicking his butt, as he tries to intimidate her and brings up Logan. Then after it's done, she just takes off. It's pretty impressive. And at number 9, she tortured Emma Frost. Emma Frost has always been a rival of Jean's, but Jean can arguably overpower her fellow psychic mutant, as seen in New X-Men issue 139 when Jean literally tortures Frost. After Jean discovered that Emma had been having a psychic affair with Scott, dressed up as Jean nonetheless, Jean loses it and phases through Emma's mind, pulls out all of the memories and horrible images that she's ever encountered, and puts her through intense emotional pain. Why? Well, an eye for an eye, so to speak. She wanted Emma to feel the kinds of pain she felt after finding out about the affair. Emma even begs for Jean to stop, but Jean does not listen. Moving on to number 8, the Sinister Six. As we mentioned earlier, the 616 isn't the only place where Jean's pulled off some pretty nasty stunts. The Age of Apocalypse reality on Earth 295 also saw Jean go full Dark Phoenix, and it was pretty terrifying. After she's brought back to life after sacrificing herself to save the High Human Council from being hit by bombs that they sent off to end Apocalypse, Jean returns thanks to Mr. Sinister. With no recollection of her previous life, she works under Sinister as Mutant Alpha, and ends up creating the Sinister Six of this Earth, leading the team to fight against the X-Men. Wolverine, who is known as Weapon X in this universe, manages to get through to her in time before things get really destructive, causing Jean to turn on Sinister and burn him alive. She then becomes the leader of the X-Men. I mean, minus incinerating a dude, at least it isn't too bad of an end for the character in this timeline. Can't say that about some of the other ones on our list. Moving on to number 7, X-Men The Last Stand. For this number, we're going to take a look at the original Fox X-Men movies, and one that actually got retconned thanks to the events of X-Men Days of Future Past. Notoriously thought of as one of the least liked X-Men movies, The Last Stand features Jean returning back to life and going full Dark Phoenix. She kind of becomes one of Magneto's henchmen, which a lot of people didn't like. But perhaps the most memorable moment of the film occurs at its end, when the Phoenix begins to destroy Alcatraz and everything and anything near her. Logan takes it upon himself and his regenerative healing powers to approach Jean and stop her. For the briefest moment, he gets through to her, with Jean begging him to save her, and Wolverine stabs her with his claws, fatally wounding her. Up next, number 6. She killed her teammates. In Exiles issue 3 and 4, we see an alternate version of Jean's Dark Phoenix kill all of her teammates. Yep, gets real dark. So on this Earth, Jean has fully become Dark Phoenix, and it's too late to stop her. The Exiles realize it's too late after she's vaporized her teammates, including Storm, Cyclops, and Gladiator. The plan then shifts from trying to save Jean to trying to kill her. The Exiles manage to overwhelm her briefly, giving Wolverine just enough time to get close to her and stab her through the heart with his claws. This has a negative effect though. Jean explodes, and the damage not only kills her, but ends up vaporizing the moon and the Shi'ar ships orbiting it. Luckily, the Exiles get out of this reality just in time to avoid dying like everyone else. In at 5, she committed suicide. The Dark Phoenix saga would end with Jean sacrificing herself in order to prevent the Dark Phoenix from killing anyone else. At the end of the storyline, Jean temporarily gains control of herself for a moment and tells Scott her plan to prevent anyone else from dying at her hands. She tells him that it is better this way, that it's quick, clean, and final, and that a part of her will always be with him. He pleads with her, but she does it anyway, with her last word being his name. Since then, Marvel has had a bit of a habit of bringing her back to life and killing her off. Sort of become a bit of a joke now. In at number 4, the retcon. Despite the Phoenix saga being one of the most iconic X-Men storylines, there was some retcon that went down that changed a lot about what we thought we knew about Jean Grey based off of that saga. So after she committed suicide, Scott would fall for another woman who looked identical to Jean. Her name was MADELYNE PRYOR. Turns out she was Jean's clone created by Mr. Sinister, who is obsessed with creating the perfect mutant from her and Scott's DNA. It's a whole thing. MADELYNE and Scott would have a kid who would later turn out to be Cable, but that is a whole other narrative. Anywho, in Fantastic Four issue 286, Jean is found in a cocoon in Jamaica Bay. It's revealed that she wasn't the Dark Phoenix after all, but rather the one that we saw previously who came out of the water was a duplicate of her created by the Phoenix Force, which is an all-powerful cosmic entity that possessed her. Scott ditches his new wife and kid and returns to Jean, and Jean is established as being less responsible for all of the genocide that Dark Phoenix was a fan of. It was was also a way for Marvel to bring back the popular character without her being a villain. Retcons are scary, guys. In at number 3, Jean gets revenge on the HELLFIRE Club. The Dark Phoenix of the Ultimate Marvel Universe is just as homicidal as the one in the 616 universe. On Earth 1610, we see Jean get revenge on the HELLFIRE Club. Now, they're an organization notorious for meddling with Jean and trying to make use of her Phoenix Force powers for their own goals. Now, in the Ultimate Universe, the HELLFIRE Club believes that Jean's powers come from a Phoenix god, and they want to wake up said god or entity that resides within her. Jean is not down for this, and when they tried to summon the Phoenix god, her powers were triggered, and she went on a rampage. This included killing most of the members of the HELLFIRE Club in rather brutal ways. For those that were left alive, she stole their bank account information and all of their money after erasing their memories. But I mean, robbery and fraud seem significantly less bad when you've just burned a man down to a skeleton, so. Coming in at number 2, she wiped out a whole planet. Perhaps the most messed up thing that Jean has ever done as the Dark Phoenix in the 616 universe is committing genocide. She wiped out an entire planet, killing an entire race known as the Dabari. When in space, Jean consumes a star for substance, which launches it into a supernova years and years and years before its time. This causes mass destruction, wiping out the 11 planets around that star, including one that contains life, and the entire Dabari race. Now, the Dabari were an ancient peace-loving civilization, and 10 minutes after Jean consumed the star, the entire planet was wiped out, extinguishing 5 billion lives in the process. And she was just all kinda like, meh. You can see why Marvel thought that retcon that we mentioned earlier was necessary in order to absolve Jean from the guilt of this many deaths. And last but not least, in at number 1, what if the Phoenix had not died? In What If issue 27 from volume 1 of the series, we get to see what would happen if Jean hadn't committed suicide to prevent Dark Phoenix from succeeding. The issue plays out like normal, with her returning to the X-Mansion after consuming that star for energy and committing genocide. Kitty Pryde calls her out on it, and then Jean loses it, going on a rampage, killing Kitty along with several other X-Men. Her powers become too much for her to handle, and after her attempt to kill herself fails, along with a failed lobotomy, Jean ends up going around murdering all of her friends in cruel ways. She buries the claustrophobic Storm alive. She stabs Colossus with Wolverine's claws. And after she kills Cyclops, only then does she realize what she's done. But it's already too late. The Phoenix Force engulfs everything, destroying the Earth, ever expanding and consuming the rest of the universe in the process. Talk about grim.
Number 10. Madeline Pryor. You might consider having Madeline on this list today cheating since she is a clone of Jean Grey, but I don't care, she deserves to be talked about. Originally the love interest and first wife of X-Men leader Cyclops, Madeline was a frequent member of the X-Men supporting cast until a series of terrible events. You know, her husband leaving, losing her son, and finding out she's actually a clone, which led her down a path of villainy. It's discovered that when Phoenix took her own life, a fragment of the Phoenix Force entered the body of the clone, and that's what gave her life and sentience, which Sinister took as an opportunity to attract Scott so that the two could procreate and make one of the most powerful mutants out there. Since Madeline was cloned from Jean Grey's DNA, she was essentially another version of Jean, and possessed Jean's telekinetic and telepathic abilities, although it's never stated if she was actually classified as an Omega level mutant as well. During the 2012 Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, Mr. Sinister had created a group of 6 Madeline Pryor clones in order to take the Phoenix Force energies from the Phoenix 5, consisting of the Phoenix Force empowered Cyclops, Colossus, Emma Frost, Magik, and Namor. Unlike the original Madeline, none of these 6 clones showed indication of having individual personalities or free will, but instead appeared to follow Sinister completely. The Madeline Pryor clones joined Sinister's other clone creations in fighting the Phoenix 5 and managed to defeat each one. They also were able to siphon some of the energy from the Phoenix Force, but they were all immediately killed by the entity itself. Check her out for yourself, starting with 1983's Uncanny X-Men number 168. Number 9. Stepford Cuckoos. Known as 3-in-1 and then later 4-in-1, 5-in-1, and 1000-in-1, the Stepford Cuckoos are the product of Weapon XIV, or Weapon 14. Meaning they are clones created from the genetic template of Emma Frost that were created for the purpose of killing every mutant on Earth. Thousands of these clones exist dormant, however only 5 were sent to infiltrate the Xavier Institute in order to hone their skills and gain intel. As mutants with powers similar to Emma Frost, the girls have shown that they are capable of telepathy, mind alteration, astral projection, and the infamous organic diamond form that give them psionic immunity, super strength, stamina, and durability. However, what sets them apart from Frost is that the Cuckoos can selectively harden parts of their bodies as needed. During the War Song storyline, an unstable fraction of the Phoenix Force sparked inside the girls, and their dormant weapon plus nanotech inside their bones was activated. This nanotech briefly reanimated Sophie and Esme, who directed their sisters back to the world to activate Sublime's plan for the destruction of the mutant race. The Phoenix and Sublime both wrestled for control of the Cuckoos until the X-Men arrived. Phoebe and Mindy were captured and integrated into Sublime's machine, but the Phoenix was able to possess Celeste. When Celeste was finally merged into the machine, the Phoenix was divided between all the Cuckoos and trapped in their newly emerged second mutation, their organic diamond hearts. Eventually, Celeste was able to take full control of the Phoenix, destroyed her sisters, and trap the Phoenix fragments inside the 3-in-1's flawless diamond hearts, rendering them all emotionless. Check out these sisters for yourself, starting with their first appearance in 2001's New X-Men number 118. Number 8. Emma Frost, Earth 92,124. Hailing from Earth 92,124, an alternate reality where Amazonia conquered the world very early on, making females the dominant sex across the globe, slowly eliminating the male gene altogether, comes Emma Frost, the hero known as White Phoenix in this reality. This Emma Frost is said to possess all the powers of Emma Frost and the Phoenix Force, which already makes you think she's incredibly strong, and you'd be exactly right. These powers include, but are definitely not limited to, telepathy, mind cloaking, astral projection, mental paralysis, telekinesis, and of course, the organic diamond form that protects her from psychic attacks and also grants her super strength, stamina, and durability. White Phoenix was a member of the Avengers who worked with President Artoom and helped capture the Y-Men leader Hercules. However, all but White Phoenix had grown disillusioned with the president and teamed up with Hercules and Gorgon in confronting her. White Phoenix stayed by the president's side but was held hostage by Wolverine, unfortunately. Give this Emma story a read for yourself in 2009's Incredible Hercules number 124 to number 125. Number 7. Quentin QUIRE. Also known as Kid Omega, Quentin joined the Xavier Institute after Professor X's return from averting a war with Genosha and the rebuilding of the X Mansion. QUIRE is depicted as an Omega-level mutant possessing advanced cognitive and telepathic abilities, which enable him to organize and construct his thoughts at accelerated rates, overtly or covertly manipulate the minds of others, resist mind probes, and disable other forms of psychic manipulation. His level of psychic influence on others depends on the number of people he wants to affect, meaning it's stronger when he focuses on less people, of course. After he was hurt pretty badly and was kept semi-alive in Beast's lab, he was found by the Phoenix Force, and although it didn't accept him as a host, it woke him up from his coma and reconstituted his body. He eventually heads out to find the Phoenix Force, and when he does, he winds up releasing it, asking it to revive Sophie, his love. Sophie refused to come back to life, and the Force left him to wallow in his own self-pity. Fast forward a bit and we see the Phoenix Force allow Quentin to absorb some of its power, which he ends up sacrificing to save Jubilee from dying. Now, although he didn't have it for long and didn't actually have access to the full powers of the Phoenix Force, he was still capable of interstellar travel, pyrokinesis, and of course, resurrection. Check out Quentin's story for yourself, starting with 2003's New X-Men number 134. Number 6. Hope Summers. The first mutant born after the House of M and Decimation storyline. According to Cable, the baby is a messianic figure destined to save both mutant and humankind, and he ends up becoming her adopted father. However, there were some who didn't agree with his decision, as there was a timeline where she kills everyone instead of saving them. Hope is an Omega level mutant with the ability of unspecified limits to psychically manipulate and mimic the powers of other mutants. This is generally shown as a mimicry of the superhuman mutant abilities of those near her. However, she has demonstrated additional powers, like when she was born, when she unleashed a massive psionic pulse that destroyed Cerebro. During the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, Hope is targeted by the Phoenix Force, and the X-Men want her to accept it because it could revive the dwindling mutant race. The Phoenix Force arrives, and instead of possessing Hope, it possesses and forms the Phoenix 5, and she is taken away to safety. Having learned about a previous Phoenix host who is also trained to become the Iron Fist of her era, Hope visits UT, but UT is unable to help her directly, instead instructing her to learn from Spider-Man based on a vision that he had. Although uncertain if he can teach her, Spider-Man proceeds to tell Hope of his mantra of great power requiring great responsibility, giving her more to think about in her role as the host of the Phoenix Force. He also teaches her about patience, and with these lessons, Hope fights alongside Scarlet Witch against Cyclops, and she not only takes on the full power of the Phoenix and restores the mutant race, but she stops Cyclops in the process. With her destiny fulfilled, she is shown departing Utopia to find a new place for herself. Give her story a read, starting with 2008's X-Men Volume 2, number 205. Number 5. Rachel Summers. Let's hop over to Earth 811 for a second to talk about Rachel Summers, aka Prestige, aka Marvel Girl, aka Phoenix. As an alternate reality daughter of Jean Grey and Scott Summers, Rachel inherited some pretty sweet powers. Classified as an Omega level mutant, she is shown to have inherited all of her mother's psionic abilities, with a few extras shown in there for fun. She can manipulate time, and is shown incredibly strong empathetic powers that enables her to control, manipulate, and alter the feelings, sensations, and emotions of other sentient beings. Rachel spent quite a while as a brainwashed quote-unquote hound for the authorities, forced to hunt down her fellow mutants before merging with the Phoenix Force, and was then considered the one true Phoenix, as all her abilities and capabilities were maxed out, and the only limit to her power was her own will and imagination. Hopeless might still love all things Jean, but Rachel has definitely proved a more successful host, as they state that adult Jean was definitely the most powerful, but she had her ups and downs, destroying a planet, killing her friends. Rachel, I think, rode that wave just a little bit better. Check out Rachel for yourself, starting with 1981's X-Men number 141. Number 4, Professor X. Already one of the most powerful mutants out there, and definitely one of the best known Marvel characters as well. Now if you're not familiar with Charles Xavier's abilities, let me give you a quick reminder. He is an alpha level mutant said to possess the most powerful brain in existence. Because of this, he is said to be the world's greatest telepath, possessing vast psionic powers. Now funnily enough, in one often overlooked X-Men storyline, Charles Xavier briefly wielded some of the Phoenix's power and was known as the Bald Phoenix. He became a member of the Starjammers, a group of space pirates, and was seriously injured pretty early on, slipping into a coma. He was still able to communicate with them telepathically though, and he eventually merged with the consciousness of the team ship to further assist them. His body seemingly dies in the stasis capsule he was kept in, but his consciousness lived on. Fast forward a bit and it is revealed that Falcon is actually the Phoenix Force, which was residing within the body of Excalibur's Rachel Summers at the time. Rachel had the Force drained from her body by Deathbird, and it was placed in a canister that was later transferred over to Charles. Months after that battle, it's revealed that the Phoenix Force completely revives Charles and imbued him with limited Phoenix Force abilities. Now although he didn't possess the full power, he was still a formidable foe, trust me. I mean, that coupled with his unparalleled telepathic powers would make him one of the most powerful Phoenix hosts the Marvel Universe has ever seen. And considering the somewhat unnerving mental state he's had since founding the mutant nation Krakoa, Xavier could very well turn into Marvel's most dangerous Phoenix as well. Check out this lesser known storyline starting with 1990's X-Men Spotlight 1... Starjammers number 1. Number 3, Wolverine. Logan of Earth 14,412 mirrors his mainstream counterpart's history up to the point where King Loki completely wiped out the humankind to make his brother Thor suffer. Logan ended up dying but was chosen as the new host of the Phoenix Force, and he began traveling the universe, wiping out celestial bodies to aid the universe as it met its slow death. After encountering a future Loki, Logan was convinced to go back in time and prevent Loki from ever gathering the Infinity Stones, which he gladly did because it gave Logan the opportunity to see his long dead friends one last time. After Wolverine returns to the future, he comes in contact with an old friend, Thor, and then much to Thor's surprise, Logan attacks him pretty much on sight. The two battle it out before eventually putting aside their differences to team up and take down a much bigger threat, Doom. Old Man Phoenix and Thor then face off against Doom, who reduced Logan to nothing but a skeleton with the spirit of vengeance's HELLFIRE, but Logan resurrected and sacrificed himself to transfer the Phoenix Force into Mjolnir, which helped Thor defeat Doom once and for all. Give this Logan story a read for yourself, starting with his first appearance in 2017's Marvel Legacy, number 1. Number 2, The Phoenix 5. During 2012's Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, the Phoenix Force is heading towards Earth, and the Avengers, obviously fearing the almighty entity, made Iron Man and Giant Man prepare a disruptor weapon to kill the Phoenix Force. Although instead of killing it, the blast alters the entity and divides it into 5 fragments, which forcefully bonds with 5 X-Men: Namor, Magik, Colossus, Emma Frost, and Cyclops. While the heroes tried to use this awesome power very gallantly and responsibly, they ended up leaving quite a bit of damage in their wake. Hopeless stated that they tried to do good things, and they ended up losing their minds, causing massive world problems and killing Charles Xavier in the process. Also, adding the fact that it seems the more good you try to achieve with this power, the more likely your efforts will backfire. Namor is the first to lose the fragment after being defeated by the Avengers, with Magik and Colossus pretty close behind after they were tricked into defeating each other. Emma Frost, half of the Phoenix Force, was later stolen by Cyclops to increase his power during the final battle with the Avengers and X-Men, and while Cyclops, yeah, he's a bit of a special case, so let's just focus on him for a bit. He was the last one to fall under the corrupted influence of the Phoenix Force and becomes Dark Phoenix after hosting all 5 fragments. But Jean Grey's essence convinces him to let the Phoenix leave his body as he is attacked by Hope Summers and the Scarlet Witch. He gets the Phoenix Force once again in order to decimate the Children of Tomorrow during the insertion between Earth 616 and Earth 1610, retaining the Phoenix even after the remaining universes crashed together, but eventually lost it one last time when he was killed by Dr. Doom. There's a little bit more to the story, but I will let you check it out for yourself, starting with the first appearance of the Phoenix 5 in 2012's Avengers vs. X-Men, number 5. And finally, number 1, Jean Grey, the most powerful and complete Phoenix Force and host combination around. While not acting as the avatar of the Phoenix Force, Jean is already a force to be reckoned with, as she is an Omega level mutant and one of the most powerful telepaths, telekinetics, and psions out there. Her abilities were suppressed at a young age by Charles Xavier after she connected with her dying friend, Annie Richardson. Jean's telepathy was activated when she was transported into the future where Xavier was dead. As stated by Death, Jean is the favored and true avatar of the Phoenix Force. As its avatar, she can greatly increase her powers by tapping into the life energies of those who haven't been born yet. The Phoenix Force also allows its avatars to manifest additional powers, especially in terms of Jean as its quote-unquote host, house, and self. These powers include interstellar travel, cosmic pyrokinesis, immortality, and existence mastery, which means she is able to control the entirety of existence. Now, as I said before, Jean is the strongest and most complete host of the Phoenix Force, and as such, she is even capable of forcibly ripping it out of another host and forcing its status upon herself. There was even a period of time that the two completely merged together and became the White Phoenix of the Crown, allowing her to access the full capabilities of the Almighty Phoenix. Check out Jean and her story for yourself, starting with her first appearance in 1963's X-Men #1.
Number 10. Zombie Dark Phoenix. This version of Jean does have some perks when it comes to power set, but ultimately her downfall is, well, being stuck in the Marvel Zombies universe, where many zombies get taken out by fellow zombie hero Hulk. Here, however, Jean is supposed to possess the Phoenix Force still, which in theory I think should have allowed her to resurrect herself, but maybe that works differently when you get completely punched to smithereens by the Hulk. But I mean literally, she gets punched through the torso and then the Hulk crushes her head with his fist in Marvel Zombies 2 issue 5. It's quite gratuitous because, well, Marvel Zombies. Still, however, in theory, the zombified version of Jean should have been considered one of the most powerful. And overall, for the zombie heroes, even being defeated by the Hulk, she was considered one of the most powerful, running with the zombie Galacti, aka Power Cosmic Zombies, on Earth 2149 or Earth Z prior to her death. Number 9. Ultimate Jean Grey. Ultimate Jean Grey ended up becoming the leader of Tian, which I think gives her a power boost, but on the other hand, she was not made as powerful as her 616 counterpart when it comes to her abilities, so for that, she gets moved down a peg. While telekinesis was initially Jean's main power set on Earth 616, here in the Ultimate Universe, Jean seemed to primarily be more of a telepath, who also has telekinetic abilities. Jean, as a telepath, can psychically cloak herself or others, but not against stronger telepaths. She can heal trauma or give you trauma by altering your memories. She can give others amnesia too, and use her telepathy to create vivid and realistic illusions. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list, if you want more lists about Jean Grey, or just more mutant lists in general, because I love doing those, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up, and maybe share it, maybe give it to a friend you think, needs a little Jean Grey in their day. Number 8. Jean Grey, Earth 18119. Earth 18119 is the reality of Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. It was destroyed and then incorporated into Doctor Doom's Battle World, and after the destruction of Battle World, was then completely recreated and incorporated into the multiverse by Mr. Fantastic. On this Earth, Jean's power levels are comparable to her main continuity counterpart, but she also has the added strength of being a mother, which probably makes her both a more determined hero and teacher in this reality. On Earth 18119, Jean ended up breaking up with Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, after he lost faith in Professor X's vision, and instead ended up dating and later marrying Wolverine. Together they have a daughter named Kate, whose codename is Shine, and she's super cute. Number 7. Madelyne Pryor. A lot of people think of Maddie as being a weaker version of Jean because she's a clone, but I would argue Maddie is either on the same level of Jean or at least has the potential to be at Jean's level or even more powerful. Why? Well, Madelyne Pryor might be a clone, but Mr. Sinister also made her using a part of the Phoenix Force, which means that Madelyne Pryor is kind of both Jean and the Phoenix Force all in one. She has like built-in Phoenix, which you'd think would make her connection just a touch stronger. Madelyne, also known as the Goblin Queen, is also well versed in magic, something Jean hasn't really dipped into herself. I'm not saying she's more powerful than Jean Grey every day of the week, I'm just saying the potential for her to be more powerful here and there definitely exists, at least in my opinion. Number 6. Black Queen. This alternate version of Jean Grey comes to us from Earth 39529, which we get to peer into through 1989's What If series in issue 59. This What If asks the question, what if Wolverine led Alpha Flight? The answer? Well, the fate of Jean Grey would end up really dark. Wolverine becomes the leader of the Alpha Flight team due to the fact that the X-Men were unable to rescue him as their rescue team was killed by the Canadian military. Alpha Flight are the ones sent to rescue Jean after she ends up brainwashed by the HELLFIRE Club and joins them. Unfortunately, upon arrival, Wolverine learns it is too late as this version of Jean has already gone full Dark Phoenix. Logan has no other choice in this reality but to kill her in order to protect everyone else, basically on planet Earth. I don't know about you, but a completely evil Jean Grey who has gone full Dark Phoenix, it seems pretty powerful to me. I think Logan got lucky by even being able to kill her. Number 5. Jean Grey Earth 7642. This alternate version of Jean comes to us from a Marvel and DC crossover universe assigned the number Earth 7642. In fact, after her initial appearance, Jean from this universe would also appear in stories pertaining to her past in a crossover with the Wildcats, who were over at Image at the time. So just all the crossovers really. In this reality, Jean does become the Dark Phoenix, wipes out a star, and then takes her own life, much like in the main continuity version of the story. But instead of that not being the real Jean and learning that she was actually alive but hidden underwater, in this universe, Jean is resurrected by Darkseid, who intends to use her in his pursuit of the anti-life equation. The Teen Titans and the X-Men team up to defeat Darkseid and Jean, who then recovers her memory of her life before she was Dark Phoenix and turns on Darkseid, once more sacrificing herself to save everyone else. Ain't that just the way? Number 4. Apocalypse. In Age of Apocalypse in the reality of Earth 295, Jean ends up eventually taking on the mantle of Apocalypse. While she perished in this reality shortly after that happened, it's basically because she sacrificed herself in order to protect other people. As I said, that always happens. Jean Grey was so powerful as Apocalypse that she even managed to hold on to her own personality, but she could feel that influence of her new role working to change her, as she expressed that she did feel intensely arrogant, which might also be why she was cool going out the way that she did in the end. Cause you know, I feel like Jean wouldn't want to be fully taken over by that force. Number 3. God Level Phoenix. This version of Jean comes to us from one of the short stories featured in X-Men Millennial Visions 2000. In the story by the maker, we learn that Jean is one of the few to survive both Deathbird and Magneto's attack. Unable to stand against them as they are, the X-Men turn to a device Forge created to evolve them further, giving them basically godlike abilities, or raising their abilities to become godlike, perhaps I should say. Jean, as her power-up, gains full and complete control over the Phoenix, making her more powerful than ever before. Definitely not a hero you'd want to go up against, though I honestly wouldn't want to go up against Rogue either in this reality, who you just need to be within a mile of to have your powers and life energy drained, which sounds pretty scary, at least if she has any skin exposed. Number 2. Zorn. While she might not have gone dark or taken the powers of Apocalypse, Jean as Zorn from the alternate reality of Earth 13729 is just all around one of the most powerful Jeans in the multiverse, in my humble opinion. Her powers are like her main counterpart but improved, making her one of the strongest all-around alternates out there. Of course, even then, like most alternate versions of Jean, and even main Jean, Zorn still perished in the end. In X-Men Battle of the Atom issue number 2, we learn that Jean's powers are so great that not even she can apparently handle them, and during the all-out brawl with all the other X-Men and alternate X-Men, she overloads and ends up exploding, creating a massive explosion all around her and leaving nothing left of her own corpse except for her Zorn mask. Number 1. Phoenix/Dark Phoenix. I really wanted to make Zorn my number 1 most powerful alternate Jean, but then I remembered that technically both Phoenix and the Dark Phoenix personas we saw in the comics were not really Jean in the main continuity, which would make Phoenix an alternate as well, albeit a one who we thought at the time was the main Jean and who existed in the main continuity still, living in effect as Jean. Dark Phoenix was powerful enough to destroy a whole planet and the whole Dabari race, which I believe amounted to, I think, billions of lives lost. Later, after sacrificing herself to save everyone from her own darkness, it was revealed that Dark Phoenix wasn't really Jean, but in fact a Jean duplicate created by the Phoenix Force, which used Jean's body and mind as blueprints to create a more powerful version of her while she rested safely beneath Jamaica Bay. So Phoenix and Dark Phoenix both are Jean, but at the same time aren't, which would classify Phoenix as an alternate version technically, and definitely one of the most powerful alternates out there as such. In fact, the creation of that retcon is pretty cool because apparently that retcon had to be created because they wanted to, if they were gonna bring Jean back, make her not guilty for any of the bad stuff she did as Dark Phoenix. So they basically had to make it so that that Jean wasn't the real Jean, which is pretty wild.
And at 10, the Black Queen from Earth 39259. The Black Queen is Jean Grey of Earth 39259, an Earth that appears in What If Volume 2, Issue 59. As is the case with a handful of the alternates of Jean on our list, this version of Jean has powers that parallel her 616 counterpart, but is significantly more dangerous thanks to the position she's in on this alternate Earth. This Earth's narrative becomes distinct when Wolverine is captured by Alpha Flight after he departs from the X-Men. The X-Men attempt to rescue him, but the Canadian military end up gunning them down, which seems uncharacteristic of the Canadian military, but you know, so Wolverine ends up sticking with Alpha Flight and becomes their leader. Here's where Jean comes in. Because the leader of the X-Men are gone, the strong psychic ends up joining the HELLFIRE Club, falling under their influence. Because of this, Wolverine and Alpha Flight attempt to rescue her, but to their surprise, it is too late. She already becomes the Dark Phoenix, which apparently means wearing a uniform that is fishnets, a corset, and a thong, and is incredibly powerful. Ultimately, her story ends when Wolverine kills her in order to stop her from losing control and destroying the planet. Moving on to number 9, Jean Grey of Earth 10005. We had to toss in one of the cinematic adaptations of the X-Men onto this list. Now we're specifically looking at the first Fox iteration of the character. Sorry Sophie Turner, but I've always been more of a fan of Meek Jensen's Jean Grey. Anywho, rather than get into the narrative of that adaptation, let's take a look at what she can do ability-wise. It's noted in the films by Charles Xavier that she's the only Class 5 mutant that he's ever encountered, and that her potential is practically limitless thanks to her mutation occurring in the unconscious part of her mind. Xavier had to put mental blocks in her mind in order to keep her powers at bay, and allow for her to control them. But without those blocks, her power is completely unstable, and her telepathy, telekinesis, and empathic abilities are limitless. After Jean seemingly died, she would return in the Phoenix Saga, with the Phoenix persona manifesting within her. It comes to life as less of a Phoenix Force in these films and more of a part of Jean, part of a dissociative identity disorder, with her losing power of her abilities if she became emotionally unstable. Moving on to number 8, Poison Marvel Girl from Earth 17952. Here we have a version of Jean Grey that appeared in the Venomverse story event, one that was assimilated into the Poison's hive. Now the Poisons are the predatory race trying to assimilate and wipe out the Clintars, the race of symbiotes that the Venom symbiote belongs to. This alternative Marvel Girl attempted to fight the symbiote-bonded X-Men. Aside from sharing the same abilities with the 616 Jean Grey, this version of the character is capable of all the things that those of her race are. Once bonded to a host, she can weaponize the assimilated symbiote's biomass, transforming it into things like weapons or tentacles. Eventually, the host will die. Hosts are generally kept alive long enough to use their bodies as a nutrient source while the bonding process is completed. She ends up getting killed though by another version of Jean Grey who becomes the Phoenix and destroys the hive in the process. And at 7, Beatriz Grey from Earth 9602. Beatriz Grey is from the Amalgam universe, a shared universe between the DC and Marvel comics in which the characters are amalgamated into one persona. This is the combination of Jean Grey and DC's Fire, aka Beatriz DaCosta. The result is a character who is a meta-mutant who has powerful psychokinetic flame abilities. A mix between DaCosta's pyroplasmic form, which causes her body to take on a fiery form at will, and pyrokinesis, and then Jean Grey's immense telekinetic and telepathic abilities. Beatriz Grey is known as Firebird and is one of the New Blood, the name for the second generation of recruits to the Judgment League Avengers. She eventually would join the Justice League X-Men, but when the Dark Firebird saga came around, she became a member of the HELLFIRE Club of Injustice. Oh, all of the amalgamated team names. Ugh. And at 6, Phoenix from Earth TRN 713. In Groot issue 2, we get to see a glimpse of Earth TRN 713, in which everyone is a Groot alternate, and there's a Groot Lactus threatening to devour the Earth. Get it? Groot Galactus? Groot Lactus. Ugh. It's essentially a dream of the 616 Groots. Anywho, this version of Jean Grey is also a Groot and has the combined powers of the Phoenix and Groot, which is pretty neat. She was one of the heroes who approached Groot in his dream requesting his help to save the universe, and then joins in the battle with the X-Men to fight off Groot Lactus. She's also considered to be a mutant Flora Colossi. That's pretty neat. And at 5, Age of Apocalypse Jean. From Earth 295, or rather the Age of Apocalypse timeline, this version of Jean Grey has it kinda rough. So for context, if you didn't know, Age of Apocalypse is an Earth in which Charles Xavier was killed off, spawning Apocalypse to attack sooner, and the mutant resistance being under the guidance of Magneto instead. Jean is one of Magneto's students, who ends up falling in love with this Earth's Wolverine alternate known as Weapon X. The character ends up getting captured by Mr. Sinister, who wants her to join his team. She rejects, and of course, he doesn't like that, so he tosses her into his breeding pens, using her DNA combined with Cyclops' to engineer the perfect mutant, X-Man, Nate Gray. Weapon X rescues her, and she ends up joining up with the High Human Council, but learns of their plan to destroy Apocalypse by dropping nukes on him and the rest of the USA. She's opposed to it and tries to use her psychic abilities to hold back the nukes, but seemingly dies. It's later revealed that she was the one who stopped the nukes from hitting the High Human Council, and was resurrected by Mr. Sinister in the aftermath. That's when she starts displaying her Phoenix Force abilities, which on this Earth is called Mutant Alpha. At first, Jean doesn't recall her previous life and leads a team to fight the X-Men called the Sinister Six. Cute. But ends up coming face to face with Weapon X, who manages to help her remember things. She then turns on Mr. Sinister and kills him by incinerating him, eventually leading the X-Men at Magneto's request. In at 4, the Red Queen from Earth 9575. The Red Queen is an alternate we actually talked about on one of our scariest alternate versions of X-Men list. She is quite frightful. This Jean has been banished off of her own world of Earth 9575 and ended up on Earth 998, all thanks to her criminal past. She stirs up a plan, deciding to pretend that she's the reincarnation of Queen Madeline, that Earth's alternate of her 616 clone Madeline Pryor. She then attempts to take over Britain, becoming their queen, and plans to conquer the rest of the world as well. And she does this by enhancing her powers, all by acquiring what she believes is the ultimate weapon the Marvel Multiverse has to offer: Nate Gray, and all of his alternate versions. She begins to lure all of these Nates to her new Earth, sucking them dry of their life force and power, killing them, and then disposing of them only to get a brand new Nate to use. She eventually tries to lure the Nate Gray from 616, but that plan backfires, causing her to use up all of her Nates to increase her power to try to defeat him. Ultimately, he kills her by creating a sun around her body, burning her to death. Talk about a way to go. And at 3, Jean Grey of Earth 8649. This Jean comes from the first volume of The Exiles, appearing in issues 3 and 4. Earth 8649 is a place that's well into the Dark Phoenix saga. The Jean of this universe is the Dark Phoenix wholeheartedly. They try to defeat her via trial by combat, pretending to be representatives of the world that she destroyed. But they realize she is far too gone to try to reverse the situation. She's vaporized Storm, Cyclops, and Gladiator, and the Exiles realize that the only way to end her reign of terror is to kill her. Not such an easy feat though. The team managed to overwhelm her, with Wolverine attempting to get close enough to her to stab her through the heart. He succeeds and Jean explodes, vaporizing the moon and the Shi'ar ships orbiting it nearby. Needless to say, it causes major devastation, but luckily the Exiles team are removed from this reality before the blast occurs. Moving on to number 2, Armageddon from Earth 2182. Armageddon, compared to the other numbers on our list, is a bit more of an unconventional alternative Jean. Rather, he's kind of her spawn. He's a combination between Jean Grey and Apocalypse, made by the latter with the genetic material of both of them, with the intention of him being the ultimate weapon. So many ultimate weapons. So what makes him so deadly? Well, he's got all of the powers of Jean Grey, plus all of the ridiculously immense and powerful abilities of Apocalypse. Luckily for Earth 2182, Armageddon decides to turn his back on Apocalypse, rejecting his ideologies, and joins up with the X-Men, who are led by Wolverine. On this world, Wolverine killed Professor X, and in doing so became paralyzed himself. Oh, the irony. Ultimately leading the team of mutants. Not much is known about Armageddon's mother, Jean, prior to his creation. She died under unknown circumstances after Professor Xavier was killed. And finally, in at number 1, Zombie Jean Grey from Earth 2149. Jean Grey's zombie counterpart is horrifying, and also very, very strong. Prior to the zombie plague, not much is really known about her life. Her story really begins when Alpha Flight attacked the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, ultimately causing her to be infected by the virus. She's later seen in the comics flying to the Baxter Building to prevent Magneto's escape. She really comes into her full power though later on when she's possessed by the Phoenix Force, leading her to join the Zombie Galacti, the group of zombie superheroes who ate the Silver Surfer and Galactus, gaining their power cosmic. As Zombie Phoenix, she has access to all of the abilities she would normally have from the Phoenix Force, including vast telepathy and telekinesis, along with cosmic pyrokinesis, the ability to control matter, energy, and thoughts, and the ability to resurrect herself after death, which surely came into handy when her original body died in a battle against the Zombie Hulk after joining the Galacti, whom he was a member of. To be fair, Zombie Hulk was sort of a dick all around and kinda killed a lot of other zombies. He smashed Thanos' head by doing that. It was a little dramatic.